I was curious about you guys' pass rush. 7 sacks in the first game, and then 3, and then 1. What have you seen out of that, and how can you guys create more penetration in the backfield?
Yeah. So I think Syracuse was a pretty a lot of their offense was drop back pass, and so they probably gave us more opportunities to rush the passer. Boston College, I think when you watch the game early, we got a ton of pressure in Boston College the first 15 plays, and I think after that, they did a really good job of not letting us pass rush. It was a lot of move the pocket naked, kind of play action stuff where some of our pressures couldn't get home. And then I think against Virginia Tech, other than third downs, we just had a hard time, getting into situations where we felt comfortable rushing the passer because of some of the run game schematics we were getting. So, Florida State's going to be similar to Virginia Tech. And so some people just aren't going to let you rush the passer as much, Greg. So I still feel good about, I thought the sack we had in the third quarter was a huge play in the game. So I still feel good about our pass rush when we get in the right situation against the right team.
And what have you seen out of Florida State on film as you guys get ready for Saturday?
Yeah, so they've kind of the new quarterback they're playing. He really started the last 2 games. A really talented kid. He was at Louisville. Lonnie Galloway was very familiar with him, very complimentary of him. I think really since he's come in, they've kind of got a little more juice. He's really, really athletic and run it. I think he's their leading rusher. I know he's their leading rusher. So they do a good job. Coach Norvell is a good coach. We have to do a really good job on the quarterback run. We have to do a really good job. They create a lot of conflict with dual plays, with our eyes. And I think that was probably one of our biggest problems Saturday. And I think that'll be the challenge this week. But they're talented for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, Brendan Marks, go ahead.
Hey, Jay, thanks for taking the time. I'm just sort of curious if you could give us your overall thoughts on the way the defense played on Saturday. I know Mac had said that it was going to be tricky going in, but just sort of your take on the way that things actually unfolded.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the short answer is not very well. But we didn't tackle well, and that was the most disappointing thing to me. And we missed twice as many tackles as we missed the first 2 games. And a credit to that goes Virginia Tech. They made us miss. And I think what they do on offense is difficult. We obviously have to have a better plan for it. But we didn't tackle well. I didn't think we got off blocks very well. And I think ultimately what happened is the secondary was too involved in the run game for too long. And I think that's when we gave up some of those big ones at the end. That was the secondary not doing their job. So it was kind of a trickle-down effect. But we certainly have a lot to work on.
Thank you.
All right, Jacob Turner, go ahead.
Hey, Jay, kind of feeding off that question, the third quarter was obviously when Virginia Tech kind of clawed their way back in the game. From a defensive standpoint or even maybe a team standpoint, what changed in that third quarter that maybe allowed Virginia Tech to cut it to what 5 as I think is how close they got it?
Yeah. So, whatever I tell you is going to be an excuse, right? Like, we didn't get it done. We needed to tackle better. We needed to get off blocks better. And, I think they made some schematic changes in the way they were blocking a couple things that I didn't do a very good job adjusting to. I think we kind of settled down, after we got the sack and kind of, I think at that point we really, the run game became a little bit more manageable, but we weren't getting off of blocks well. And some of the schemes they were giving us were different than what we had seen earlier in the game. And I didn't do a good enough job of, getting us in a better position. So credit to them.
All right, Andrew Jones, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, staying on the third quarter, they ran 25 plays, and you didn't have Ray available. A couple of the guys weren't available either. How much did you guys tire in that quarter, and how much was that probably responsible for what they were able to accumulate?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly didn't help, but to me, that's an excuse. Right? No one cares, right? Like they got an onside kick, no one cares. Right? We got to go play, and we need some of our younger guys to be able to go in the game and play better than they did. And that was part of it too. So Andrew, my man, we're never going to say like, oh, we played too many plays. Like that ain't no one. That's the way college football is these days. And we got him in the third down and didn't get off the field, and that was ultimately what did it. And then I think, I don't think we got as physically tired. I mean, some guys were probably physically tired. I think we got mentally tired, and that was the most disappointing thing for me.
Staying on that, what did you miss not having Ray available on Saturday?
I mean, Ray's one of our better players. He's a good run defender, but I think ultimately what it did was it just, Virginia Tech was committed to the run. They did a good job with it, and not having another rotational D lineman, it caused other guys that hadn't been playing as much to play more. And I think we got worn down a little bit. So I hope he's ready to go this week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to Ross Martin.
Hey, Jay, how would you evaluate the play of Cam Kelly and Patrice Renee, who both saw significant snaps against the Hokies?
Yeah, I was proud of both of them. They both have had a kind of Patrice Renee's had a hard year, since he tore his ACL, with everything else that's going on. I'm really proud of how that kid battled, and we don't, we don't talk a lot about all the other stuff going on, but there was a lot of things going on that were kind of out of Patrice's control that affected him getting ready to play. And, so I thought he played really well. I thought he was the most physical he's been since I've been here, which we challenged him all week. And then I thought Cam, here's the deal with Cam Kelly, right? He transferred from Auburn. We got him here in the summer. We didn't think he was going to be able to play. We didn't think he'd get a waiver. We finally get a waiver. 2 weeks later, he starts against Clemson, is playing really well, tears his ACL. Well, then, he missed all that learning of being in the meeting room, being out there, getting work. And so then he comes back, and now we don't have spring practice. So he's behind a little bit, just, as far as learning the defense and getting reps and all those things. But I thought on Saturday, Cam played really hard. I think he led us in tackles. I anticipate him playing a lot moving forward.
Did Virginia Tech try to take out Chaz Surratt? I mean, were they focused on really blocking him? I don't know what you saw on tape compared to what we saw.
I think they did a good job of not allowing him to be the free player. We went in the game thinking we could get him to be the free player, and they did a really good job of not allowing us to do that. And I think ultimately, if you said in the chess match of the blocking versus run defense, that was what I needed to do a better job of.
And quickly, Don Chapman looked like he played. I mean, had one of his best games of his career. What did you see from him on tape?
Look, I love that kid. I mean, I put him at corner. He's played corner like 10 snaps in practice. And I said, Don, go play corner, because we needed to change how we were fitting the run a little bit. But at the same time, he gave up the last touchdown, and he knows that. And Don Chapman's going to be a terrific player here. He's already a really good player, and I think as he gets more and more reps, I think you're going to see a really complete football player.
Great, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, Luke Buxton, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, continuing the trend about asking about players, Max said that Kyler McMichael was the defensive player of the week. What did you see out of Kyler, and kind of what do you think are his biggest areas that he can improve on for the future?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think Kyler played really physical, and that's something we've been challenged on. And again, here's another kid that, his freshman year at Clemson, I think he played about 150 snaps, mostly in mop-up duty, then sat out last year. So, I mean, that was his third game he's played really of any substance in a while. And I feel like he gets better every day. I really do. And, we basically asked him to play. I don't know how many plays we played, 80 or 78 or something. Like, he played man on almost all of them. And they completed one third down on him. It was a good route. But other than that, I mean, he did really good. And when they threw the screen, when they tried to attack us on the perimeter out there, I thought he was really good. He's a big, strong, fast kid. He's a great kid. I'm really glad he's here.
Quick follow-up. It seems like your defensive group is a very confident group, just the way they kind of carry themselves on the field. After a performance like this that doesn't kind of necessarily match the previous two performances, what do you tell a team like this after a game?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing we didn't do on Saturday is what we talk about all the time. That's our fundamentals. That's tackling. That's communication. So I think when you don't have success, you go right back to working on what do you think are the most important things, and clearly for us that's tackling and getting off blocks and communication. That's what we're going to go back to and work on.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, last one for Coach Bateman. Alyssa Ray, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I guess the only silver lining about dealing with some injuries is that some young guys get some solid game reps against a top 25 opponent. How beneficial is that experience moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, Alyssa, the worst thing about being a college football coach is your kid's getting hurt. It's the single worst thing, right? So when a kid gets hurt, right, it's like you feel like one of your children was injured, right? So that's the single worst thing about it. But, we have a lot of young men that deserve to play that work their tails off. And so when somebody does get, nicked up, you hope it's not serious, and then you get the next guy ready. And, we've got a lot of young kids that are coming along, that are getting better every day, that have surprised us when we put them in the game. No one asked me about Eugene Asante. I think he played about 28 snaps and played really well in a really specific role. So I think, listen, I think that's going to continue. You're going to see, I thought Kevin Hester, when he went in the game, did a really nice job. So I think a lot of those young kids, have improved, and their rep totals are going to go up as they continue to improve.